That was almost a...
Well, it was the one hand underneath. It was hard. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Friends You Can Keep podcast. I've got notes.
Oh. I've got pajamas.
Things that have... Now, see, no one can see your pants. If you wouldn't have said that... And the other people are on audio, so they wouldn't have known at all.
It's okay.
I don't...
We're having a pajama
you
party.
You can
I'm not ashamed I'm wearing pajamas.
You can self-report all you want. I don't care. I'll just let you know.
It's a pajama party Friday.
Lots of
boy.
notes. Where to begin?
I saw a bumper sticker, a license plate today that said TVL for VR.
TVL for VR.
So I was like, oh, TV forever? Then I'm like, what's the L? TV LaForver? TV... It was... I thought about it for the entire time that guy was in front of me because I was really trying to... Sometimes you can figure it out really quickly.
TV Love?
I don't know.
TV Like? I don't know.
Maybe I'm the only person who does that. Tries to figure out what your license plate is. That one drove me crazy.
What I will lead in with this is a very you have not watched it yet either. So this is a very non-spoiler review kind of thing, but I fully watched the Mythical Kitchen Live last night.
Yeah. I just watched the first...
Chaotic.
Half? How long was it?
You watched the first, quarter.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it was...
Yeah, I watched about a half hour.
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
Oh.
With the post-show, it was on until 1 o'clock.
I liked it, I saw.
It was very chaotic, very fun. I think a very good...
I heard you say, oh my god.
I think a very good first showing for the Mythical Kitchen. Because it's their first live show.
Yeah.
They've done Good Mythical Evening.
And they've all been on it, right?
Yeah, they've made appearances on Good Mythical Evening, but they've not...
Right,
they've not done a full kitchen-centric one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, as to be expected, there's some things that could have been done better. There's some elements that you could have did differently.
The chefs were not drinking, but Josh, the host, was drinking.
Josh was drinking. Emily was drinking. I think people off camera were drinking. Rhett and Link are there later, which wasn't. They gave that away. They were drinking, but
yeah. So that could have, and a little bit of nerves because they're not typically on live.
Yeah.
So, and the kinks, I'm sure, is why it was so chaotic.
Well, no, it's chaotic. When you watch it, it's chaotic because...
They intended it to be?
Well, I think they intended it to be, and I think they did... What was kind of nice, I thought of it later, because it is 3 separate competitions, because it is an elimination-style thing. And they're doing it like how it is done on Food Network, where it's, you have this much time.
Oh, okay.
You've got this much time to make whatever.
Yeah.
Or do whatever they've have you doing. And I think,
they're not used to that.
Well, and because it's live, they're showing you just raw, here's what it is.
Right. Uh-huh.
So it's all the chaotic shit that happens when you're trying to cook something in 60 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And you've got all this random shit you have to use or whatever it is. Like if it was Chopped. Food Network's cutting that out and dramatizing it and doing this and doing that. Whereas, if you just watch that raw feed, you've got someone what am I supposed to do with this licorice? I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah,
I'm making...
Or, not even knowing what it is.
I'm making beef Wellington. Where does this go?
Yeah.
A whole... they... Because of it being a live show, they can't cut that out. So you're seeing all the chaos of trying to figure out what you're doing with the time constraint and...
I do want to watch it.
Everything else. It was very good.
It was very good. Week?
No, we have till the 21st.
Oh, so 3 weeks.
Yeah, from today till the 21st. At 3 p.m.
Which is a Monday.
Because of the time difference.
Oh, it's probably, yeah, that you get so many hours.
Yeah, it ends at midnight whatever day on the East Coast and then 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. I guess technically the next day on the East Coast. some stuff. What else did I see here? Lots of stuff I saw online to talk about, or things I heard on the radio. This was talked about on Preston and Steve. I'm very intrigued by this. So there's a lot of new things. This is not me trying to shame anybody. People can be into what they're into. It's 2025. Lots of new things are coming to the forefront. Things that probably did exist before but are now being brought into a more public eye.
Right. Well, and people are like less ashamed of things they like.
What they talked about on Preston and Steve is apparently there was some survey done or study, I forget where the information came from, that there has been a rise among couples that practice ethical non-monogamy.
Okay.
Doing a trend that they call hotwifing, which is you, and I don't know, they didn't address like if it's filmed or not, but you
I'm like trying to in my mind think ahead of what that could possibly be.
Somehow, I don't know how you find them, but you find a male porn star,
okay,
to have sex with your, like I would find a male porn star to have sex with you.
Okay.
It's essentially what that is.
Okay.
And
then what?
That's it. And like they said on the show, what I kind of agreed with was, this is one of those weird things where you're putting a new term to something that already exists. Like, yes, you've added another layer to it, but
it's just a cuckold,
you're just a cuck.
Is he watching?
I think so. I think that was the... Yeah.
Or is it sort of like the
yeah, because
notion
in the article, there was a guy that said, like... What the hell did this guy say?
They're just, like, the...
Something about, like... Something about him always wanting to see...
Oh.
I think it was a woman. I don't know if it was necessarily his wife. But I think it was something about always wanting to see a woman have sex with two men at the same time. And I'm like, first of all...
You can't just watch that on the TV?
You can watch that on TV. It's readily available on the internet.
I mean, I understand that's not the same thing, but...
Number two...
Why do you want to be in the room?
One, like, just such a weird... Yeah, I don't... It was just...
I always thought, like...
That explanation was so weird to me, of, like, just admit that, like, that you're a cuck.
But doesn't it need to be your wife in order for you to be considered a cuck?
Yes.
So...
That is an element. That's I don't remember if it was his wife or like just a woman in general.
Or do you think...
But it was his wife that was in, like... It was his wife that it was happening to.
Yeah,
in this example. And it was just a strange thing of, like... It was just a weird thing of, like, you can readily find that online.
Right.
So why do you need the live experience of it? Because also... I don't know, but for me it just feels strange. That you're like, oh, I just always wanted to see that. And it's like, so are you just there as an audience?
Right.
Are you doing something when you're there, or are you just there? Because I feel like if you're just there, it's awkward for everyone.
But if he's not there, is it just like the notion of like, because they're calling it like hot wifing.
He's definitely there.
To know like your wife is hot enough.
The guy is definitely there.
That this other guy would want to have sex with her?
The guy is definitely there. Because that was the whole point.
Okay.
It was like, this is just, you're just a cuckold.
Okay.
Like, that's what this is. You've added the element of hiring a professional to do it. But
the fact that, like, you hired someone... I don't know, because like, in my mind I'm thinking, like, oh, maybe they like the confidence boost or, like, the ego boost of, like, oh, my wife is so hot that she could easily, like, have sex with anyone. But, like, if you're hiring a porn star, then, like, that's not based on her merit. That's just, you paid that guy to be there.
Yeah, I just don't know.
He works for you. You're not friends. Like, what? That's weird.
You're not helping him. You hired him.
Yeah. Like...
Oh, yeah, they talked about it.
And, like, I don't understand the notion of being a cuck, but, like, if that's what you're into, that's a thing. You just say that.
And that was the whole thing with that. They
like, why are you ashamed?
That they kind of said, where it was
you
like...
had to come up with a new name?
Where they were like, it's fine if you are. Like, if you're into that sort of thing. Where are the guys
from?
I think all over. There wasn't a specific, like...
Oh, okay.
It was just like, this is a new trend among ethical non-monogamists.
Is that, like, the conscious uncoupling?
No, you're in a relationship.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Where you're just cheating.
No, a conscious uncoupling was divorce.
Right, but it was like the fancy way to say divorce. It was the guy from Coldplay.
No, I think ethical non-monogamy is the fancy way to say you're in an open relationship.
Right, that's what I mean. It's that same notion where, like, a conscious uncoupling is you're just getting divorced.
Yeah.
But, like...
I think. I could be totally...
An ethical... What were they calling it?
Ethical non-monogamy. Let's look it up. Let's see if there's a definition. I'm sure there's
ethical non... I mean...
Urban Dictionary.
I mean, I'm sure it is exactly as it sounds. You and I have both agreed that we can see other people.
Define ethical...
Or maybe... You don't have to put define. You could just type...
I did.
And
also known as consensual non-monogamy, is a relationship framework where all partners agree to engage in multiple romantic or sexual connections, prioritizing consent, communication, and mutual respect.
So you're just open about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is a relationship structure where individuals choose to have multiple romantic or sexual relationships with the explicit consent and awareness of all parties involved.
From polyamory, because polyamory is where, like, all
you're
three
all
of
in a
us.
relationship. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is... There are many ways to practice ENM, including polyamory, open relationships, swinging, thruples or quads, and polyfidelity.
What does that mean?
All parties in a group agree not to have romantic and sexual relationships outside the established group.
Okay. All right, so that's the blanket term
Yeah.
for a variety of, like, categories. I don't see why you needed to... Maybe they didn't make up that new term. They made up this new term called hotwifing.
I don't know.
Hotwifing is the weird thing that they made up.
Yeah, I don't know where that... Let's see if I can find that.
The ethical non-monogamy was maybe a term that existed. We just never heard of that before.
New York Post. We're all credible. Bizarre new sex trend, but couples swear it's saving their marriages.
Is it, though?
Blah, blah, blah. Couples are opening up their relationships in a new trend called hotwifing, which sees husbands watch their wives sleep with other men. That's cuckolding.
Right, that's not...
It's kind of like letting your... Oh, good God. It's kind of like letting your friend test drive your car.
Excuse me?
Explained one husband named Logan.
Logan? You just compared your wife to your car.
He gets to
She's not your property. You know that, right?
He gets to see how well it rides. He's got to give it back, but it creates a sense of pride. You get a little taste of what my life is like.
Ew. See, that's what I was saying. Where, like, the husband gets, like, a little bit of a weird ego thing about it.
Multiple couples partner with the adult site Wifey so that the wives can bed professional porn stars as part of the unconventional new practice, which the Daily Mail described as, quote, a modern take on cuckolding.
Well, it's not...
It'd be really cool for him to see me with two hot guys just living my best life, said Sienna, Logan's wife.
Oh, God.
I like how she's saying it'd be really cool for him to see.
That sounds like Logan's not good, and you're trying to just find any excuse.
That sounds like she really wants this to happen.
Yeah, it's for her.
And she's just saying, like, oh, it'd be really cool for you, my guy.
You know what would be great is if I fucked two porn stars while you watched. Wouldn't that be so good for you? So great for you. The best.
Oh my God. While the pair are seasoned hotwifers, partaking in it for 2 years.
Jesus!
Other participating couples are just testing the waters. One man named Alex admitted that he never tried kinky acts until he met Rebecca, his wife. Now the married couple are into hotwifing, and Alex can witness his fantasy of his wife with 2 other men at once.
Wait a minute. So you weren't never into kinky things, but now...
But now all of a sudden you've had a fantasy forever?
Yeah.
Of watching your wife be with 2 men at the same time, and one of them isn't you?
I don't...
Number one, both of these relationships sound like this was the woman's idea.
Right, and she's frameworking it.
And she's just... Logan and Alex, I feel like, are being gaslit into thinking this is a good idea.
Absolutely. She's turning that head whichever way she wants.
Because it went from, it's like my buddy test driving my car.
Yeah, to her being like...
See how well it rides.
Wouldn't it be great
look at this nice luxury model that I have. And then
Which
all of a
is
sudden,
gross.
it's like, wouldn't it be great for him to watch me have sex with a professional?
Right.
Two professionals.
How do you go back to...
Two professionals.
Like, don't you as the husband feel like a little bit inadequate then after that? Because, like, your wife just had sex with, like, someone who does this professionally.
Some may bristle at the thought of their partner with another person, let alone two. Rebecca insists that the arrangement has actually brought, quote, a whole other level of comfort and security to their relationship. Quote, there's really nothing like being able to share that experience with someone you love and knowing that it doesn't diminish what we have, she said.
Does she still sleep with her husband?
Adding that sex and love are two completely different things.
I guess, yeah.
It actually made it a lot stronger, and it's weird to say, but I actually love him so much more because of it.
Do you?
Well, it sounds like you love him so much more because of it, but you're not fucking him anymore because of it.
Right. Do you like him more?
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of weird...
Sounds like your love is like when I tell my friends that I love them.
Or like, right. No. It's like when someone does something for you and you're like, oh, I love you. Oh, no.
Meanwhile, one man named Richard is looking forward to seeing his wife Danielle be, quote, defiled in a way that I've never seen her defiled before. No. And Danielle plans to wear her wedding dress for the occasion. And I just love the pristine wedding dress. Beautiful girl. My own wife. Just destroyed, Richards.
What?
That's incredible.
I mean, I know
God,
we're all assuming that this is like really consensual, but that's like problematic language to be using.
Incredible.
Like, that's really strong language. Like, if I heard you say that you wanted to see that of me, I would be really, like, taken aback.
Just destroyed.
Like, doesn't he say defiled?
Yeah, defiled is the first one, and then I just love the pristine wedding dress. Beautiful girl. My own wife. Just destroyed.
Also, you should never use the word girl. Like
Richard.
That.
Richard said. Of course your name is Richard.
Dick.
He explained that every hotwifing experience is, quote, a building block of love and trust, and it keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Does it? Because, like, it just sounds like...
So we're going to strengthen our relationship, and I'm going to get some entertainment and adrenaline from the defilement.
Ew.
Added.
No. Now, that's too far.
Shannon Loafland, a former Colorado sheriff's deputy.
Okay, I was like, she gave her last name?
Is also planning to take part in the experience. The 44-year-old who left her position in law enforcement when her side gig as an adult film star was outed will be sleeping with another porn star while her husband records it.
You can't be
I remember this lady.
A cop and a porn star?
I guess not.
Or
no, is this a different lady? Is this the lady that slept with, like, the whole department?
I don't know.
Because that was a thing. It might be the same lady.
That would be a reason.
We hope we're able to provide insight into the hot wife lifestyle and show that a couple can remain deeply in love and stay strong together, even when there are experiences with other partners.
Well,
She said, adding that the pair is just like any other couple, despite their sexual fantasies. I could feel my husband's unconditional love and support, she noted. This was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for both of us, and it made our bond even stronger. Well, if you continue doing it, it's not a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Well, like, that's the thing. Like, is this something that you're doing on a regular basis? Then, like, has it replaced your relationship with each other? Like, if you're not sleeping with each other anymore, you're just sleeping with other people? Like, why are you still married?
I mean, I get it.
Yes, you love each other, but, like, are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, maybe you could just part ways.
Yeah.
But if you're still sleeping together, then I guess they don't really ever say that. Like, they say how it's strengthened it. Like, oh, I feel his love for me. But, like, you haven't said, like, it's transformed our sex life. It's only... Like, they kind of leave that out.
Yeah. Can you grab my iPad off the table quick? Just as a little side note, my mom texted me, "What's your Apple TV login?" And it's going to ask me on the iPad to confirm.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. it's all a very strange thing to me that
I would have a lot more questions to really see.
Well, it's one of those things
if it
of,
is
like,
as like weird
it's one of those things. The only way, and I can't even say that. Because I was gonna say, like, if you had kids, but even then, like, not a big part, but, like, well, I guess, yeah, a big part, because there's multiple parts of a relationship, a successful relationship, but, like, sex is a part of that.
Right.
And it would definitely be a case of, like, to use us, because there's no one else I can really think of.
Well, because you don't want
it wouldn't be weird.
Right, you don't want to insinuate for another couple.
To use us as an example, like, I love you more than anything. But if it was the case of, like, oh, I don't want to have sex with you anymore, I think we should have sex with other people.
Right, like, why are we...
I would definitely be like, then what are we doing here?
Why are we still married?
Yeah.
But if you are still sleeping together and sleeping with other people, then I guess that's
that is different.
But they don't really...
None of this... Yeah, well, they don't ever say. None of it is saying, like...
Our sex life was improved also.
Yes, it's all about our bond.
Yeah, right.
And we still love each other so much. And it's like, yeah, but that's not the question we're asking.
And maybe that's their way of saying that, but, like...
Sheila, we're asking a different question.
But, like, you're being very open about the fact that, like, you're getting gangbanged by some porn stars, but you won't just, like, flat out say that you're still sleeping with your husband. Like, you have, like, on one hand, you're being so open.
She's not getting gangbanged. She's getting destroyed.
Defiled.
She's getting destroyed.
I just don't... That one. Like, the other one...
That guy was a bit much.
The other ones were just like, oh... I'm living out a fantasy, or like it. I just want to see what it looks like. Whatever.
We went on a real roller coaster there.
Yeah,
because the first two was definitely like, oh,
your wife.
You got with a kinky woman.
Yeah,
and she gaslit you into thinking like, great idea, honey. I got a brilliant idea on something we should be doing
that you would love.
And then that third one is a guy who's like, man, I can't wait to put my wife in her wedding dress and just watch her get fucking destroyed by another dude.
And it's like, ooh.
Defiled in a way that
in a wedding dress.
I think he said, like, defiled in a way that I've never defiled her.
No, or like she's never
been defiled.
That's never been done before or something. It was too far.
Oh, God.
That was too far.
This sounds like a description of a snuff film. I guess on that note, that's actually a pretty decent segue. I got an ad on Instagram for this. I saved it. And I saved it because of, like, when I pull it up, it is ways to, like, spice up your relationship.
It's the cat. I heard something.
And 13 ways to spice up your sex life. The reason I saved it to bring up is because I don't know if they're in order of, like,
usually they're lists
the
like
most
that
timid to the most extreme or whatever. But what is the last thing? It being last made me laugh. So, but they are listed 1 to 13. It starts with 1. I don't think it matters. They're just here. It's not ranked. They're just listed. So this one is take it outside. Okay. You may need to look up your local laws, but try taking it to the great outdoors. Try different penetration techniques. If both partners are comfortable with this idea, this could include things like pegging.
What? No.
A pre-sex workout.
Okay.
Getting hot and sweaty before engaging in the act may help get in the mood, especially if you hit the showers together. Get it on in the back seat. Do it in your car.
Ew.
Add food to the mix. Ew. Just make sure to clean things up so that no one gets an infection afterward.
Ew.
Role play. I think that's self-explanatory.
Sure.
Sext one another. Again, self-explanatory.
Okay.
Dabble in... The way some of this is worded is
Why do they
so
use the
funny
word
to
dabble?
me. Dabble in light spanking.
Oh, okay. Just like...
Oh, hold on.
400... Whoops, maybe I shouldn't say that out loud.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it'll be expired. Yeah.
Dabble in light spanking. If you haven't ever tried this, it's a very light introduction to a kink, but make sure to communicate if it hurts or anything if going awry.
So it's supposed to be like...
Communication is sexy.
Like, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like within...
Yeah, it's like part
other
of your...
things.
It's like part of your foreplay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a little light spanking. A little light spanking.
It feels weird.
Switch
like,
up
wouldn't
positions.
you just want to go all the way? Like, just...
Switch up positions. This is the easiest thing on the list.
Okay, sure.
I feel like sexting is the easiest thing on the list.
Yeah, maybe. Or that just change positions.
Well, that's what that one is. Switch up positions was this is the easiest thing on this list. But I feel like sexting I mean, they're both easy, but like I feel like sexting is the easiest on this list.
Yeah, probably.
Get a room. A hotel room, that is. A new location, new scenery, and hotel room might make you feel like you're having a lover's getaway. Bring in some toys. Again, self-explanatory. Sexy lingerie. And number 13. it's the rest of them were 3 a slide. This one is by itself. It's so funny to me that it's just by itself. Anal play. You don't have to go all the way. You can try things out with a butt plug, beads, or even just oral play.
Ew.
Just the fact that was last and it was by itself was so funny to me on this ad.
These are all like, why are there so many things on Instagram just dedicated to like sex tips? Like, thank you.
Oh my god.
Just go away.
Oh god. The fact that ad was just... What's happening?
She's not doing it right. She took too long.
I sent her a code. I looked down, hit allow. She then texted me back because it gave me another code. She then texted me, sorry, next one. I'll probably get another one.
She took too long.
5 minutes.
Or she typed it in wrong and it locked her out.
She probably typed it in wrong. Trying to think of other things. I saw a post from a girl that I follow on Instagram. I think she's a comedian. But she also models.
There's a lot of those.
She sent in there's a lot of women that just...
Yeah, it's like they...
There's wrestlers that model, there's comedians
job,
that model. Yeah, multiple gigs. She sent in a audition tape, pictures, I don't know what exactly it was, for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. And she revealed that they sent her a letter back saying that they can't accept her audition because they don't accept Canadian submissions for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's a weird line to draw. I didn't realize...
Have they always been American?
I have no idea, I guess.
Is it a weird, like, some kind of weird law?
I don't know. Here, let's see if I can...
Or just
if anything
their
comes up when you
own?
search
Like, oh, we only do Americans? Seems weird.
Sports Illustrated swimsuit.
Like, is she fully Canadian? Like, she's not a dual... Wow, that washer is loud.
I wonder if I can find latest swimsuit photo.
Like, you gotta Google, like, Canadian.
I did. I'll see if I can find the girl who put it up. Now the problem is
is known for her appearance on the Sports Illustrated swimsuit since 2013. So she's been in Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition since 2013.
I filmed a long submission video for Sports Illustrated Swim Search 2025, then found out they don't accept Canadian submissions.
Oh yeah, here it is. The Canadian model, entrepreneur, and TV personality returned for her third with the magazine. So that's not true.
What year was that?
2023.
So did they change it in 2025? Are you sure? I mean, they just had a Canadian in 2022, is what this comment
Yeah,
says.
in 2023 and 2013. And she's in 2025.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you have to be asked. They don't accept auditions, period. They ask you to be in it. You don't ask them to be in it. I don't know what else it could be.
Did she want to be on the cover?
I doubt it.
Yeah, so, like, they've definitely had Canadians in, but, like, is it right now because of situations that are happening?
I don't know.
They can't...
It was very strange when I read it, and I'm like...
Or due to,
okay.
Due to something, they can't... I don't know, that's weird.
What else have I seen? Oh, two very strange things. I'll lead with the first one. I saw... I don't want to say gross because of the context of the video, but it was gross. I saw a video today, sponsored, like, you might be interested in on Facebook or whatever. I did not do anything with it. I didn't interact with it. I should have, because I'm like, of all the things you suggest for me, this makes the most sense. I'm getting so many news networks from states I don't live in. I'm like, local news. I'm like, for what? Mm-hmm. Have I ever lived in Montana? No. Do I live in San Antonio? No.
A buzzword?
So why do you think I want local news for these places? I don't. The churches, like all these weird things. I'm like, what? What is telling you I want any of this?
Maybe they're just hoping. They're just trying.
This one was a woman with an ostomy bag.
Okay. So relevant.
And I don't really know what the point of the post was. It said something about Elvira. And then when you scroll up and the video starts playing and my audio was on, it's her bag. Like, she's filming it like this. And it's her bag filling, but it's, like, loud. As if, like, you can hear someone taking, like, a loud shit. And then I, like, clicked into the comments and, like, what the fuck is the point of this? Because I have a bag, and I'm like, that's fucking disgusting.
But
I'm like, I don't want to do that because of the stigma of it all, but, like, that's fucking gross.
But also, like, why did you film that and put it on the internet? Because, like, that's not... If you are not putting that in, like, a group for, like, ostomy support, then, like...
Well, I think that was the point of the post, and that was, like, the point of her page, was that kind of thing, but I'm like, I don't...
Is that one too far? Like,
I don't... And, again, the spectrum of people with Crohn's and IBS and IBD and ulcerative colitis, iridocyclitis, like all that stuff.
I don't think iridocyclitis
is so varying of severity.
Yeah.
And I think I am on the lower spectrum of severity. I think I am. Well, no, I think I'm in the middle, I should say.
I think having an ostomy puts you at the... It's just maintained.
But I think I'm in the middle in the sense of, like, I don't just have IBS. ice cream doesn't upset my tummy. But I'm also like, I haven't encountered anything yet. I've had a bag now.
Tony was a year.
And that was on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've had a bag about 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, 4.
I've never had the experience of it being, like, loud when it fills.
Not... Like, you can hear it, but it's one of those, like...
I've had times where there is a sound...
it squeaks.
There is a sound that you might think I farted.
Because
Tony
does.
But it's not long.
No, it's like a
this was legitimate. Like, first of all, she's filming it. You're watching it like it's a bag like mine where you can't see through it, but you're watching the bag go from like flat.
Do you think it's air?
No. But you're watching it go from like the flat thing to like kind of doing this, and you're just hearing it. It sounds like when they put Mario on that fucking purple thing. The Lego Mario, it's just like... and I'm like...
Weird!
But then, there were all these stories. There was 2 comments I saw. One of them was a guy who told a story about how he got arrested at I forget where it was. I forget where, a convenience store, a bank. I forget where this was. Or no. He was like a bus, maybe? It was like public transport. That his grandfather had an ostomy, and he told this story about how he got arrested because he said out loud something about, like, time to burp the baby, and he burped his bag, which, for those of you not in the know, that's when you...
It's like sulfur.
When you open your bag, and you let the air out of it, that's called burping your bag.
And people thought it was like a...
And, no, like, he did it. He did it, and, like, oh, it was so bad, and people were throwing up, and this and that. And I'm like...
It's not that. It's not.
I read that, and I'm like, first of all, your grandfather fucking lied to you, because he was not arrested for that. No way in hell was your grandfather arrested for burping his ostomy bag on the bus.
Also...
Get the hell out of here.
You didn't need to do that.
No, you didn't. You definitely didn't.
So if you did get arrested...
And there was another guy who's like, oh, it was the same thing about, he had whatever, his uncle or whoever, some relative, that told some story about, like, his uncle did it in a store. And it cleared the whole store out and blah, blah. And I'm like, no, it didn't.
I mean, it's really... It's a different smell than a fart, but, like, it's no worse than, like, a gnarly fart.
I'm like, again... I understand there are vast differences in the experiences that people have with these things. I understand that in terms of people with an ostomy bag, I think I am on the lower side of issues.
But isn't it, like, once you have your bag, aren't your issues supposed to be, like, now they're managed?
Because I think you can have, like, depending on your diet, depending on things you do, you can have... more air, you can have like a stronger smell, a weaker smell. It can be more the consistency of like a normal bowel movement. It can be more the consistency of diarrhea all the time. Like, it's still the wide spectrum. It's no different than regular people who shit. Like, it's still the wide spectrum of like all these things still affect it. It just comes out of a different hole for us.
I do have an ostomy then when you're all done. It's really funny.
But just like, I'm like, there's no way that your uncle or whoever did this and it cleared out a whole store.
No,
and this whole like, oh, people were throwing up, and I'm like, this isn't the fucking screening of The Exorcist. Like, get the hell out of here.
It's not.
I'm like, your family members lied to you.
Like, is it disgusting? Sure, but like, have you ever been behind like someone who just farted? It's very similar.
Well, it's one of those things, like, I can tell you from experience. I don't know what it is. Now, and I don't know what affects what. Because Jacob, my brother, used to smoke. I don't know if that affected it, how it affected it. Our diets aren't particularly different.
I don't think so, no.
He drinks Diet Coke. I drink regular Coke. I think he drinks a lot more Diet Coke than I drink regular Coke.
It could be something in the sweetener, but I doubt it.
But, like, when he burps his bag, it is disgusting. Like, I will be the first to admit to you, it is gross. When he empties his bag and goes to the bathroom, it is gross. Like, you can't go in that bathroom. You can, but it's hard. And maybe
there's like something in particular.
He goes to my parents' house and he turns the fan on. God bless you. But then he leaves the door shut. I'm like, open the door.
Right.
Let the room air out.
Yeah. You just let it escape.
Like, because no one's back there. It's in the hallway. No one's in that hallway.
Fan on, won't
just
that,
let it.
Isn't
Just
that
let
the
it.
Point?
Like, oh, God. But then I'm like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm nose blind to it. I don't know. But I've burped my bag in front of people before, and I've never had someone be like, oh, like.
It depends on where you are. Like, if you're just in a room, you wouldn't really... It's only, like, in the car. That
you would.
You notice it.
His you would.
That's what your dad always jokes to.
Yeah. Well, he just...
Like,
because he has no regard.
Yours.
He has no regard. He has no regard for where he is, who's around him. He just does it. And it's so funny to me, because...
Like, would you fart in someone's face?
My brother has a permanent ostomy bag, like myself. Mine isn't technically permanent.
Right, his cannot be reversed.
Yeah, his is they cut literally everything from his small intestines, what this is? Yeah, large intestines over here.
Yeah.
From his small intestine to his asshole is gone.
Well, there's another, like the stump situation.
Rectal stump is the word you're looking for.
That's the difference between the surgery.
I still have my rectal stump.
Because of your age.
Yeah, it was a whole thing about, like, it can affect your libido and your prostate and this and that. So, they kept mine in. And then that was the question of, like, well, then, is there a chance that I can have this reversed at some point? And they're like, well, you could, but you also don't have a large intestine anymore. So if you got it reversed, chances are you're just going to have diarrhea for the rest of your life, and you'd be incontinent. And I'm like, cool,
but
sign me up for that.
They did that to preserve, in case you wanted to keep having kids, they said.
Well, no, it was a whole thing, because, like I said, it was not only the libido and stuff, it was also my prostate. Like, there was a whole bunch of stuff that, because of my age, they kept it in.
But it was interesting because Jacob was the same age as you.
Well, I think his was so...
Oh, he didn't.
He was beyond.
Yeah.
Like, mine was caught...
They didn't do that for him.
Mine was caught... Well, I also had different doctors, so it could just be different doctors. I don't know.
Well, they did offer
But mine was caught early enough, because his ostomy was introduced because he waited and waited and waited to the point that he was in so much pain. He was at my parents' dining room table crying and sobbing because he couldn't move anymore because he was in so much pain. Yeah. And they had to rush him to the emergency room. So, like, he had much different circumstances than what I did. I started to have pain and went to see somebody. And then it was, let's try this, let's try that, this isn't working, let's try a temporary bag. And they put the temporary bag on. Then I had problems with that bag on my left-hand side. And they're like, well, after all these tests and looking back through your history and everything else, it seems like every problem you have is in your large intestine. Everything in your small intestine has always been, knock on wood, fine. You've had no problems in your small intestine. There's never really been any inflammation. And if there was, it's been very, very minor amounts. It seems like all your issues are in your large intestine. So we're just going to get rid of your large intestine, move the bag over to your right-hand side, and connect it to your small intestine, and call it a day. One surgery took 12 plus hours. Well, and I had to learn how to walk again. And then the other surgery was not that long.
No. Well, I don't know.
Which one did I pass out? Was that the first one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, because they were really adamant about getting me up and walking, whereas in the second one, they really weren't. They were. The second one, they did want me to get up and walk, but it wasn't because, like, you were in surgery for over 12 hours. Well, your legs don't work anymore.
Well, because you were filled with so much air.
Yeah.
It's similar to, like, when you have a C-section. Because when the doctor called, she's like, he has so many centimeter incision above his pubic bone. I was like, cool, me too.
Yeah.
You know, it's when you get a phone call from the hospital and it's not like, because so they told me the nurse on call would call me when you were out, and I had called the hospital about 10 times by now.
Yeah, it was really harrowing.
And at 9 o'clock I get a phone call from the surgeon, and I'm like, is he dead? And, like, she let it immediately. She's like, I just wanted to call you to let you know Brian's out of surgery. And then she explained
This was 9 p.m., by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I dropped you off at the hospital at 5 a.m.
That's what I'm saying. Let's to get real, like, technical, because you said 9 o'clock. I got dropped off at 5 a.m., and they got to put the IVs in and all the prep.
It wasn't scheduled to
sign all the paperwork, whatever. But then, I went in for surgery at probably a little before 9 a.m., if we're being real. And then not until 9 p.m. Does she get a call that I'm out of surgery.
I had called that hospital a lot.
Yeah, you had called multiple times.
And now they were very nice to me.
Yes, they were very, like, we understand.
They knew why. I was like, and I was never, like, angry.
No.
I was just like, this is the number they gave me to call.
Yeah.
I was just checking if my husband's out of surgery. And, like, the lady that I called can't tell. She doesn't know. Yeah. She's like, all I can tell you is that he hasn't been discharged from the surgical unit. And I'm like, yeah. Okay. And I was kind of, after a while, I was like, does that mean he's still in there?
Well, and I know that they definitely would have.
If there was an emergency, they would have called
If there was any issue, they definitely would have called you.
Yeah.
And I think it was a matter of.
But I didn't know, like, did you get pushed back?
Well, I
had no idea.
The true concern was, and she said it on the phone when she eventually did, when Dr. De Leon did call you, was that, like, there was no, like.
It was worse than they thought.
Yes. No one thought that surgery was going to take as long as it did.
No.
No one did. And then when they opened me up, they're like, oh, fuck. Like,
well, it wasn't.
There's so much going on here.
I don't think it was that it was, like, worse. It was, there was more that they had to take out than they expected.
Well, and that was, because, too, it was that was the beginning. So that was my first one. And the options were, we can give you a temporary bag, or we can put you on this medicine.
Yeah.
You can do the trial run of this medicine for a year. Or so, like about a year. We'll circle back at the end of that year, see how you're doing. And if you haven't improved. And that was the question of, like, do you want to do this or that? And my question was like, well, at the end of that year, if nothing has changed.
Am I going to just get a bag?
Or if it's gotten worse, are we just going to have to go with the ostomy option anyways? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, then why would I wait a year when I'm already in pain?
I think they just, because of your age, they wanted.
No, I get it. And she was very, because of my age, because of my, like, outside of my Crohn's, I am a reasonably healthy person.
But you didn't have any confounding.
Yes, there was nothing.
I think you had, like, a little bit of a protein deficiency, but, like, not any. There wasn't anything, like. I remember your labs were, like, a little. Sorry, everyone. There was a slight earthquake.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I just remember them. There was, like, a little question about your labs where she's like, it's not a. We can still go through with it. There's always a question about labs. But, like, you know, you just have to make sure that after your surgery, like, it was something that they needed to, like, focus on. Which, obviously, it corrected itself.
Yeah.
But there wasn't, like, you didn't have high cholesterol or high blood pressure.
When at that point, because I had been in remission.
Hearts.
And then that was when I started to have stomach pain and stuff again. And, like, real bad cramps, real bad stomach pain.
And when Tony was born.
Yeah.
You were, like, barfing.
No. Well, I did
Not on just a
once
few
or
times.
twice.
Yeah.
But it was more that, because that was the year, so he was born, and then that Christmas Eve through New Year's. But it was real bad Christmas Eve of, like, well, no, because we went to my parents for Christmas Eve. I was totally fine Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Day, I was just in so much pain. We had Christmas Day here, your family was over, and it was to the point of, like, I would go upstairs. And what's now the playroom was at that point Tony's room, and no one was in there. And, like, you could see our bedroom straight down the hallway, so I didn't go in there. I was like, I would go into Tony's room and hide, and I was just on the floor in the fetal position. Because that was the only relief I had.
That's what would happen to me when I would get sick. That's the only position that felt even remotely comfortable.
And then I'd come back downstairs and, like, be fine for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'd go back upstairs and like, lay in the fetal position.
Clearly because it was you had, like, inflammation. That's what they inevitably found.
Well, and there, because it hadn't happened before. And, like, when my parents make prime rib at their house, like, it's so smoky. And, like, Tony was also kind of really not doing great.
He was, like,
Christmas
colicky,
Day.
yeah.
So I'm like, maybe it's just because of the smoke. I don't know why it would be, but, like,
Well, like, or like, were you
maybe it's something with
like
that.
dehydrated?
Yeah, but then like
it didn't get better.
Well, it wasn't as bad as Christmas Day. It was still there, but that day was real bad. And like it kind of was like lingering, and then around New Year's Eve it got real bad again. But I think there again, we had prime rib Christmas Eve.
No, we went to.
That was New Year's. New Year's Eve, I had prime rib again.
Yeah.
And now looking back, clearly it was because I was eating prime rib.
Yeah,
that was the problem.
Meat. Yeah.
But then then I went to the doctor, and then it was a matter of, like I said, the decision.
And then it was COVID, so it was really hard to like get into the doctor, and it was They were obviously they tried conservative medications for a while.
But then the surgery came, and then, like I said, it was the options of this or that, and I was kind of like, well, I'm already in as much pain as I'm in. I don't want to, like, oh, let's try this for a year.
Right.
And, like, oh, well, the medicine, because the medicine won't really, like, it takes minimum 6 months for it to really show signs of a difference. And it's like, so either I can be in pain for another minimum 6 months.
Right.
Or I can just have the surgery and kind of relieve myself of this pain now. And I did. I talked to my brother about it. I talked to you about it. Like, it wasn't a decision. I just was like,
well,
yep, let's do it.
We all knew, like, that's a big option. Like, it wasn't like it was so shocking to hear, like, oh, you could potentially
Well, I think, too, because my brother, at that point, my brother had a permanent one.
But, yeah.
My aunt has had one in the past. My uncle has had one in the past. They've both since had theirs reversed, but so it wasn't also an unfamiliar thing to my family.
Yeah.
As like even a thing in general. Like it wasn't just like, oh, well, we've heard of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, and I think in the office I was kind of like, well, that's what I'm going to do. And she was real like,
yeah, do you want to go
home? I love her. I miss her.
Do you want to go home and talk to anyone
Yeah, it was
about
like,
it?
well, do you want to talk to your wife about it? Like, talk to your family about it. And it wasn't like, do you? It was like, why don't you take the weekend?
Right.
Like, talk to your wife, talk to your family, whatever. You can email me when you come to a full decision. And, like, we'll go from there. And then it was probably the next day. Because I just called people and I talked to you and was like, this is what it is.
It was just sort of, it was the faster way to go.
Yeah,
and definitely. They said, like, because we did intend to have, like, at least another baby, so it was like,
I struggled with it.
Can you have a,
like right before?
I remember
or right after.
You were nervous that Tony was going to be scared.
Yeah.
And you came home, and Tony, like, didn't even notice. I mean, well, also, he was, like, what, 1?
Well, I was real, like...
You thought he would be scared of it for some reason, even though, like... I don't know what you thought, because, like, also, he had seen Jake's. So it wasn't as if he had never been around one. But, like, you came home, once he was timid because, like, you weren't allowed to lift, like, you were...
Yeah.
So...
Well, it was one of those things of, like...
you recovered, but, like, at this point now, he knows what that is, and he knows it's poop in there.
I just had it in my mind of, like... I just had this thing in my mind of, like, I don't want my kids to see me as, like, a monster.
But, and I don't know why...
I don't either. I don't know.
Or, like, why you thought they would even see it, period.
I don't know.
But, like, now, the two of them could care less. Literally.
No, and I think it was just a weird thing of, like...
Well, you don't know. You don't know.
Well, and like you said, Tony was 1 year old. We were planning on having one other child. And it was just this, I think it was because, like, having a child was so fresh and so new, because it was less than a year after he was born that we were having this. It was probably, what?
Well...
6 months, maybe?
Well, you guys...
Having the conversation?
Yeah,
I was sick right after. He was born in...
Well, you were sick while I was pregnant. But we weren't sure what it was.
that was the...
It was like hit or... It was like...
Was that when I had the abscess in my back when you were pregnant?
No. Tony was already born.
I don't remember. But yeah, I was... Well, I wasn't...
Like here and there. It was
I wasn't as sick. It was starting to show itself.
Yeah. Where we just didn't know.
But then it was real bad. Like, he was born in November.
October.
Oh, yeah, Robin was born in November. October, Tony was born December.
Yeah.
I was, like, real bad.
Not as bad as when Robin was born, but...
No, but we also knew what that was. That was a different...
Well,
was a different animal.
But... That one was treatable. They just couldn't figure out how to treat it.
Yes. But yeah, it was... I think it was just everything was happening. Like, looking back, everything... I think it was just so much happening at once.
Right, and when you...
That's what my mind went to, of like...
Right, he's gonna be so scared. I'm like, I don't think so.
Well, I don't know that it was much like...
He's gonna look at you differently, or like he's gonna be... And he was a little, like... Because he knew you had a boo-boo, was what we just kind of just kept telling him, so that, like, he wouldn't do to you what they did to me when I came home after I had Robin. And he's like...
Yeah.
Slapping me. Or when you get a shot, and they see the Band-Aid, and they slap it. I'm like, what? This is a Band-Aid. What in your brain tells you should hit it? So, like, we tried very hard to say, like, you just have to be gentle, like, he has a boo-boo.
But my whole thing that I was getting to with the beginnings of this, talking about my brother having one and whatever, it's very strange to me that my brother and aunt have both... So my aunt had one, has since had it reversed. My brother has a permanent one. When I had mine, and I had it moved to my right side, I specifically asked them, when they were marking on my stomach where it was going to go, can we put it a little higher? Because where it is now on my left-hand side, when I tuck it into my pants, it doesn't work. Like, where it is on my stomach... It's and like how pulling. Long the bags are. It's a weird thing. I'm like, but if we put it a little higher on my stomach, I can just wear a little bit longer shorts or shirts. Because it's like, it's right around my waistline. So I'm not wearing like super baggy shirts.
One, you got that like cover too.
But it's one size up from what I normally wear. So it's long enough to cover the bag and I don't have to tuck it in my pants. And it was funny because, like, right after it got moved, I remember my aunt and my brother having conversations with people, because my mom would, like, report back to me about it, that, like, how strange it was that I, like, just had no shame of having it out and this and that. And I'm like, first of all, who gives a shit?
You can't see anything.
Well, my point was, like, even if you could, who cares?
But I mean, like, even if you can see the bag, it's
I
just,
looked
it's
at it
closed.
as, which is kind of the hilarity of, like, I both had a panic of, like, my kids are going to see me as a freak, but I also had the mindset of, like, this is no different than, in terms of public perception, this is no different than any other disability.
No.
Like, you wouldn't see someone in a wheelchair and be like, oh, wow. Just really, like, why would you come out? Why would you leave your house?
Why wouldn't you cover it?
Like, yeah, why wouldn't you put a blanket on FDR? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a weird thing of me. And it was so strange to me, too.
Well, but maybe...
To hear two people who have experience with it to be like, oh, like, why do you just have it out all the time? And it's like, what?
Well... It's really more comfortable.
It is a lot more comfortable. But then it's also like I said, it's also the hilarity of him when he burps his bag. And having no concept or care of, like, where he is. We'd be at a job going into someone's basement to work on the panel for a pool. As you're going down the steps, he's in front of you. He just burps his bag halfway down the steps, and then you have to walk through it.
And then that's the poor person's house.
And it's like, my guy. Well, they're not there. Who cares? But it's like, my guy. You know I'm behind you. Why? Why would you do that then? Why would you choose that moment? Why
didn't you go second?
Yeah, why didn't you go second? Why didn't you do it when we were still outside?
True.
Like...
You did just come from the outdoors.
It's just a weird, like... But then you're going, it's real weird that he's just got it out all the time. And I'm like...
It's not really out. It's just...
That's my point. Like, it's not out. If I raise my arms up or whatever, my shirt goes up, sure, you can see it. But I'm like, I'm not wearing a fucking crop top, just like, oh, there it is.
And when you wear certain
and
shirts...
I don't have the see-through bags. I have the ones that have, like, the fabric cover, so you can't just see all the shit. For certain
shirts, you do have those, like, fabric
Yeah,
things.
and if it's a shirt that I've really, really liked... that I can't come to
I feel like
terms
some of the button-down ones you've worn it. Or they
shrank, but...
just because I think it holds it a little
I need to get...
better.
I need to get new button-downs this year. I also need to... The covers I have are strange, because they're not... They're a little shorter, but not by much. Just enough that it kind of makes the shape inside of it. Like, you can feel like that it's kind of folded almost. It almost looks like this inside.
Yeah.
Because instead of it being this long, the thing is like this long. And
it's like when you stuff like a
it.
bigger pillow in a smaller pillowcase. It's like cramped.
But yeah, it's a little... It is what it is.
But so I don't know why this came across my TikTok, but it was like a mom. I think she was at Five Below. And she was saying that she found a squishmallow that looks like it has an ostomy. So she holds it up, and it's Ham from Toy Story. So it's like, like Squishmallows are...
With the pee bag plug in the bottom.
Yeah. But, so, like Squishmallows are usually God.
I gotta look it up.
Kind of not egg shape, like...
Yeah.
Candy corn shape.
Yeah.
So he's got his little arms, and his head is up here, and then, like... Or his head is here, and then, right here, he's got a cork, like, right here.
Oh,
and she was saying that it looks like he has an ostomy. So, like, she was basically saying, like, because her daughter has one. Or no, her husband has one. And her daughter said we should get this for Daddy because it looks like him. But, like, it's the way, because they have him, like, upright.
I kind of, like... It's funny, but also hearing that logic is like...
And, like, I looked at it and I'm like, what is that supposed to be?
Yeah. Like, it's...
Can I click on here?
Here, it'll go.
There you go.
Like, that's what it looks like.
That's that right there.
Yeah, his plug for so the change doesn't come out.
But it's like, that would normally be like...
It'd be underneath him.
Yeah. So
normally,
he would be
he's
like
on his all fours, like a piggy bank.
Yeah. So, in, like, Squishmallows format, but, like, that... And, like, this woman meant... Like, this was her being in earnest. She was saying, like, if you have a child who has an ostomy, this may be, like, a perfect, like, stuffy for them, because it's... And I was like, oh, my God. I just laughed.
The description is... The reasoning is beautiful. Like, absolutely beautiful. Almost brought a tear to my eye. Of like, that's amazing. If someone bought that for me, and like that was
I'll see if I can find it.
It's sold out like everywhere on there. I'm pretty sure that one I showed was like $50,000 on eBay.
Yeah, but it's at Five Below. I might be able to still find it.
Maybe. But if that was presented to me as a gift and someone was like, that's the logic, I definitely would start crying. Because like it's funny, but it's also just like the idea of like. That's a big, like... That's almost like a big, like, I see you.
Yeah.
Kind of gift.
But it was just, like, really... It was so funny that, like... That's what they thought. Because the woman was, like, the second she said that, like, I saw it.
Yeah, the second you're telling me and I looked it up, I'm like, oh my God, 100%. 100%.
Because it's just, like, I mean, now it's, like, right in the middle, and they're traditionally, like, on the side, but still... Like, if you gave that to a child who had an ostomy, like, they would at 100%. 100%. Because she said, like, her thing was, like, if you have a child who has an ostomy, you may be able to, like, attach a bag on there and, like, give it to them.
You could.
Especially, like, a pediatric.
Yeah, you could.
Or even just leave it, because, like, there is, like, the knot there. Yeah. So, but I was just like, oh my God, why is this on my... That's probably incredible. Because it was, like, parenting adjacent.
Yeah.
But it was just like, oh my God.
But yeah, the comments on that post were... Because there was a woman that was very curious of, like, do you change this? Or is, like, just... Is it always on there? Do you just, like, wash the bag out?
Oh.
And just keep using it. Like there was a very genuine question. But then there was all like those two people telling stories. There was a bunch of comments. It then made me realize that the posts talking about Elvira that's what the woman calls her bag. Or her stoma, I guess. And then there's comments like that guy's grandfather. My grandfather called his George. Or no, my uncle, because that one was like, I gotta burp the baby. That was the weird grandfather guy, where I'm like, your grandfather's full of shit. Literally.
Yeah, that is weird.
But like the other one where it's like cleared out a convenience store or whatever was like, oh, he named his George. And I'm like, am I supposed to name my stoma?
Maybe, because if those like people are older, maybe that was like
your code name.
Or like maybe they were in some sort of like support group, or like that's the way the rehab doctors were. Like,
I guess
if you name it something, like it may be easier for you to accept it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Like give it a persona.
It was just very. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing here? Should I be naming these things? It's like the weird.
Maybe you can. What
like
would you name it?
I don't know. It's like the weird thing of like I don't have a name for my penis, which I feel like was a big thing.
Only because of certain movies where they did
for a
that.
while, and I'm like, I don't have a name for my penis.
I don't think that was like ever really.
If I
real.
named my stoma, I would have to go back and watch whatever the Bob's Burgers thing was, where his uncle died or whatever. And it was about like we have to go to the reading of my uncle whatever's will, and then like if you have to poop.
No, it's something about like I have to something with the ham. Remember? There
was multiple ones, but there was one about like his uncle whatever's funeral.
Oh,
and it was the reading of the will, and like, Dad, if you have to fart, just say you have to fart. Because there was the other one of it was Christmas or Thanksgiving, and he's like, I have to get home and take the ham out of the oven. Like, if you have to go, just go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Uh
huh. The last thing we'll do this episode. This is another thing of being confused on the internet. There are many things
that confuse you on the internet.
Well, yes, but there are many things that I get fed in my algorithm on Instagram Reels, Facebook, TikTok, what have you. I would love to start doing them to show like the reality, and maybe these people don't have kids. I don't know where they're at in their relationship. Most of them are husband and wife. I don't know if they have kids or not. But I would like to show... I think I want to start filming them to show the reality of what's happening with a real married couple. But I also get... Like, there's tons of stuff where it's like different shit with husbands and wives, and I'm like... Some of it's funny, some of it's kind of identifiable, and some of it's like... None of that tracks. It might still be funny, but it doesn't track for me. But then there's this weird lane where it is the whole joke, and I've seen many variations on this, where it is the whole thing of like a husband slapping his wife's ass. I've seen the bit about like when your husband does it versus when he doesn't do it. And that whole bit of like...
Right, you're mad when he does and mad when he doesn't.
Well, you're mad when he does, and then you're like disappointed when he doesn't. And it's the whole thing of like, well, I want to know that you want to do it.
Yeah, right. I don't want you to do it, but you should want to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, uh-huh. I've seen that.
I've seen that like in many different forms and many different layers. But then I've seen... So this is kind of a twofold thing. I've then seen the reverse of that, where it is... It's always presented as like wives doing to husbands what husbands do to them.
Oh, uh-huh.
But every time I see that video, it's always the wife doing like a credit card swipe through the man's ass crack.
Or like humping him from behind. It's like, does your husband really do that
and I'm
to
like,
you?
that one I can forgive a little bit, because like, okay... I can kind of see that one more.
But, like, your husband's not doing that to you.
But the credit card thing really frustrates me. Because I'm like, who's genuinely doing that?
It's not the 90s anymore, where you go up to someone and put your hand in someone's butt crack and scream ATM.
But then I got one yesterday or today or whenever I got it that I wrote that down, that it was something about, like, it was something to do with, like, poking my wife's butt when I walk into a room or whatever. And I'm expecting it to flat out just be, like, no different than when it's a video of a guy slapping his wife on the ass. It's just, like, him just, like, poking her butt cheeks. No, it is legitimately, like, him poking her butthole. And I'm like, what? Like,
why?
What? And
but also,
I see it and I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Because this is not something I ever would think to do.
No.
Like 100%.
I don't think that they're doing that in real life.
Like 100% to me, walking into a room, or your wife walks into a room, or whatever the situation is, and the opportunity presents itself for you to slap your wife on the ass, makes total sense to me. Like, whether you think it's okay or not, whether you're into it or not, whatever. That concept.
Well, that's more of a natural.
That concept
especially
makes
like
sense
if you're
to
like,
me.
you're walking, or like
you're
coming up behind.
Yeah,
like,
you're doing dishes. I walk into the kitchen to go to the fridge.
Yeah,
and either on my way to the fridge or on my way back, I give you like a nice, good game, pat on the butt.
Or it's like, you know,
keep
the
moving.
ooh, whammy, you know, like that old where like I didn't have to bump into you, but I did. Like that feels very like natural.
What an example. What an example to use.
Like that feels.
Oh my god.
And like it has like a little bit of a comical too. Like that feels normal.
But all that concept makes sense to me. Never.
If you did, I'd probably.
Even if we were even if we were still in the beginnings of our relationship, we were still in that honeymoon phase or whatever you want to call it. If we are still in the window of time before we had kids, when like things were still at their peak, I don't think ever in a million years would I walk into a room and, like, to use the dishes example again, I don't think I would ever walk into the kitchen and think in my head either, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my hand like this and swipe it up her butt crack.
Unless you were trying to play a prank.
As if I'm trying to get money out of an ATM.
You have to yell ATM when you do it.
Or would I think, like, I have to sneak up here? Because the one I saw of the poking thing, it was not like a quick walk by, like, burp. It was like he snuck up on her and, like, had to, like, target it out. It was not just, like, a shot in the dark,
right,
hope I get it kind of poke. Like, it was a legit, like, targeted thing. And I'm like, I don't think I would ever think to do that.
I think I would be angry if you did.
Well, that's my whole thing. And then like I said, I saw it.
Especially because it's so off guard.
When it was the whole, like, oh, doing to my husband what he does to me. And my first thought was, like, ever. I can laugh at a lot of things. And I can joke about a lot of things. If something startles me, it may seem like I'm angry when I get startled, but I'm not. I might just yell out, like, Jesus Christ, like, whatever. Like, I'm clearly startled. If I'm ever in a room, minding my own business, putting laundry away, doing whatever, and you walk into that room and poke me in the asshole, I'm gonna be mad about it. I'm not only going to be startled, I'm going to be mad.
I would be mad.
It. And my immediate thought is not going to be like, haha, you got me. What's going to immediately come out of my mouth is, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yes. Because there are things that you could do to, like, prank someone.
Yeah.
That's not one of them.
No.
You just don't do that.
No.
I'm not really a big fan of the, like,
I could even
coming up behind someone and doing anything.
The prank, I could even give you the prank of doing the swipe. If you're going full prank.
But you can't startle, like, you kind of have to hear me coming.
Yeah.
You just don't expect me to do that.
Yes. But like I said, even the swipe thing as a prank, I could maybe give you that.
It just feels really childish, too.
But, like,
it's stupid.
No part of those two things makes sense in my brain. And I see so many of them. So many videos do that. Where it starts and I'm thinking it's just going to be a nice, like...
Right.
Like, quick walk by, like, pat on the butt, keep moving. And it's not. It's like... It starts out normally. Starts out like it normally would. Same kind of video beginning. And then all of a sudden it's just like... And I'm like, what's happening?
Why'd you do that?
Get your finger out of here.
There for a while, there was a big trend of, like, husbands... And maybe it was, like, the same guy. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But, like, full-blown pranking his wife. Where, like, she would be cleaning and he would come up behind her and, like, dump a whole bag of flour on the kitchen counter. Or, like, throw glitter on the kitchen floor. If I am out there...
these people that have the streamer cannon things?
No, I don't remember who they are. I haven't really seen them.
Because there's a couple that
there
was a couple that I got for a while that it was that, but they were doing... I was getting videos where they were doing it to each other.
No, this was always him to her.
So this was when I would see it... I think he was a cop. Don't remember what their names were. Don't remember what their handles were. But they had those weird things like...
Oh, the little poppers?
Where
with the string?
It's a tube. It looks like it's probably this long, maybe. And then you pull it and, like, confetti shoots out of it.
Yeah,
And it would always be... the majority of them were like, she's in a room trying to get him. Like, he would come in the front door. And she'd be... It was one of those houses where, like, the front door's here, there's steps to go upstairs, and there's a foyer, and then a big dining room, whatever. So she would be here next to the foyer, waiting for him to walk through. But instead, he would go in, like, to this room and come around behind her and shoot his off. And then she'd have to clean it up.
No, this was, like, not... It wasn't,
or she'd be cleaning it up, and then he'd walk in, like, and grab one. They had, like, hidden behind the counter. And he'd, like, grab another one while she's cleaning the first one up and shoot it. And, like, they're all laughing, but...
No, this was always...
Because I got those for a while. I got a lot of those for a while.
And there was, like, just a bunch of different ones of, like, husbands pranking their wife where, like, they just make a big mess.
Yeah.
So help me God, if you did that to me, I'm not cleaning that shit up. I'll just walk straight out the front door. Like, and maybe, like, they were all in on it, because, like, he's filming, so clearly...
Oh,
like,
definitely.
But, like, I'm not a big...
Well, there's some stuff...
Prank.
It's funny, because there is stuff that I think it's become very clear what is pre-planned and what is actually spur of the moment. And it's the weird ones that when you get that are, like, spur of the moment, where it's that kind of thing happening. Because in my mind, I'm like, I don't know that I would ever do that. Not even for the sense of, like, oh, this is really going to piss her off. But just for the sense of, like, why would I do that?
Right, someone's going to have to clean that up.
Why would I do that?
And, like, I mean, the confetti cannon, or, like, the streamer thing, like a popper thing, like, it's minimal. But, like, why are you going to make a big mess?
Well, like I said with the confetti one, they're both in on it.
Yes.
Which is also a big difference. When you're both in on the game,
right, if I'm trying to get you and you're trying to get me, then that's a different... Like, you're kind of both agreeing, like, we're both going to have to clean this up. And that's fine. But, I did... That lane, I'm like, we can move on from that. Like, it's one thing, like, I don't have a problem with pranks.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't like the whole, like... husband pranking his wife that, like, tripled her, like, work for the day. It just makes you look like a dick.
I should look it up. I forget where I saw a great one the other day. That was legitimately funny, and I forget what it was.
Or, like, have you seen the ones where it's, like, the wives doing it to their husbands? Because, like, I guess maybe, like, the TikTok stereotype is, like, that husbands startle very easily.
Yes.
So, like, it'll be... Like, you would come out of the bathroom, and I would be, like, laying on the floor in a position where, like, maybe it looked like I was dead.
Yeah.
Even though, like, you're gonna know immediately that I'm not dead. But I'd be like this. Or, like, you would be coming around the corner, and I would be on the ground, and, like, the husband's like, ah! And, like, some of them, like... Because, like, the guy the old meme, or the old Vine, where he's like, oh, you almost made me drop my croissant. Like, some of them, like, legit... Or you come into the room and you just play... I forget what song it is. There's, like, a certain song people were using. But, like, I would come up behind you and just hit play, and it just goes nuts. And, like, you see guys dumping their drinks on their faces.
I would I got a lot of them for a while.
Those were funny,
that
but
were in
also
the lane
sometimes I felt really bad.
I'm like, this would 100% be Kelly. Where it is women, I don't know why I got so many of these. It's women who would wear like white shirt, white pants, or whatever color it was, and they would paint their whole front to like blend in with a wall or some shit.
Oh my god.
But it was very obvious that there was a person there. So
right.
the husband would walk in and just be like he's not saying anything out loud. He goes along with it for a little bit and like plays into the bit. But the camera's like up here. Mm-hmm. So it's not as like an obvious like, oh, this is staged because the camera's right here.
Yeah.
Like it's actually up and looks like almost like a nanny cam kind of style.
Yeah, or they're
thing.
like an indoor ring.
And like they show him walk in the front door and the look on his face is just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? And then he'll like, one of them was he was sitting down playing video games and she's at the window right next to him. And then she finally just like, oh, and he's like, oh my god, like, really like played into it, but like it's clear there's a fucking person standing
right,
there.
like you can see.
Because this window shade is now 3-dimensional.
Yeah. And like.
Because it's shades like this. It's like blinds.
Inches from the wall.
Yeah. So I'm just like, what is this lane of TikTok I'm getting?
I've also seen ones where like, and it's always like the woman is in the car. So I don't know if she's like picking her husband up from work.
Yeah.
Or if they're going somewhere. But like, oh, faking that you got lip injections, like somehow like fake plumping your lips or like doing something where like you greet like, oh, hey. And they're like.
Yeah. I get a lot of weird ones now. I got one
Those
the other
are
day.
also, like, that's a good prank.
I got one the other day that was a woman getting ready to exit her car. It's her and her boyfriend. She's getting ready to leave the car to go into a store. She, like, undoes a button on her top, really, like, pushes her boobs together in the middle. Or no, it's a zipper top. So she zips it down to wherever, puts her boobs together, like zips it up a little bit to kind of keep them there. Does something with her lips. I forget what she does. But he's in the driver's seat, like sees this happening. She opens the door to leave. He reaches over, closes the door, and then it's just this whole tirade of like, where do you think you're going? Like, what do you think you're doing? And it was just, like, really aggressive. And I'm like, I commented on, like, this is giving me real big abusive relationship vibes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know if this was supposed to be a bit, and I do not understand the amount of comments that are like, good for him. Like, she's clearly a cheater. She's this, she's that. Good for him, blah, blah. And I'm like, what's happening here? Because it wasn't like...
Like, was she trying to prank him? Or?
Well, it wasn't... My thought was, if this was... Because it wasn't set up like, oh, watch me prank my husband.
Right.
Or whatever. It didn't, like, have anything with that. Mm-hmm. Her reaction was also not like... He didn't close the door and then start... Because he's not yelling.
Right.
Which is always worse. Like, it's just more like a stern, like, what do you think you're doing? Her reaction wasn't... like she
got you.
Well, she wasn't playing into the bit, nor was it like a got your ass, like you're insecure or whatever. Like, he starts doing that and you almost see her body language like
she
shut down. And I'm like, oh no, this is giving big like if this camera wasn't on right now, he would have hit you vibes.
Right. Or like this isn't the first time he's stopped you from...
And like it's clear like the camera was set up. So whether or not the whole thing was staged or she was in fact trying to like prank him.
Weird prank.
And this is just how, like if it just went this way and she didn't, I don't know. But it was just a weird like...
Also, if it just like went awry.
I'm like watching this video and I'm like, I don't know what your intention was here, but the vibes I'm getting from this, not great.
Have you ever seen the ones where it's like...
but I keep getting like a lot of those.
Seeing if my husband will catch my vibe. So like you'll be somewhere and you'll be like, or like you get like, you walk out of your house and you like...
Yes.
And, like, I've seen them...
I've seen some that the husband's way to do it. I've seen some that would probably be me, where the husband's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Have you seen the ones, like, the husband's, like, scream bloody murder?
Yes.
Or they're, like, they start off... Usually it's, like, a compilation. So it'll be, like, you walk out your front door and you, like, look, and then you kind of, like, go around, and then you see your husband, like, they do the same thing.
Yes.
Like, and it's... Those are so
Yeah. I've
funny.
seen both. I've seen those, and I've seen the
like,
ones where the husbands are like, what the fuck are you doing?
Or, like, we would be sitting here, and I would, like... yell like I saw a bug, and then you see the husband, or like I would like get up like I saw something, and then you see the husband's like get up, and they're like what, what? It's so funny because then you just like the woman is just like crying, laughing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Brian would not fall for that.
No.
Because I do that now, and you're like, it's a bug. I don't care.
Yeah. I think it's because you do it too often. With any bug.
But it's for real. Like, I'm not joking.
And when we started... Yeah, we're at 10 years of dating. Then I'm like, I'm over this. I'm done.
I have learned, though, that if I do see a bug, I let you know where it is, and then I leave so that I
get out of the room.
I don't...
Because we moved into this house, and we had a solid year of you standing in the room...
Yeah.
with me to watch me get this bug. And when I go to swat at it,
I get like
you like scream, and then it startles me, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
So now, but my worry is because my dad is notorious for like, you see a spider in the basement, like, Dad, there's a spider down there, and he goes down there, and like he takes a tissue,
he walks down there and goes like
well, no, he walks
like,
down,
I got it.
Now, like, I will get scared even if this, like, I'll say the spider is big.
The best example we can give is, I will tell you, I'm not a huge fan of bugs, but most of the time I'll just kill them. Even the ones, like, I'm super grossed out by, like, the millipedes and the centipedes.
Yeah. I can kill them if they stay still.
Disgusting. Too many legs. You should not exist.
And they're very silky.
You're an abomination. But I'll kill them. They're fine. Spiders, same thing. I'll kill them, whatever. There was a spider in the mountains.
It was a big boy.
We got out of the car. Your parents were not there yet.
I was walking around in the grass.
Yeah, you went over to like the fire pit area. You were walking around down away from the porch, just walking around because we were in the car or whatever. I started to take stuff up onto the porch so that when your parents got there and opened the door, I could just take it. I wouldn't have to like get it out of the car and take it in. I think I was on my second trip, because I wasn't also like trying to get everything at once. So I took like 2 bags up, went back to the car. Don't know what I did. As I'm coming back to the steps.
And it's like a porch that has steps on both sides.
Steps on either side.
And it's covered, and then the house is here. There's a door, and then there's like the front window of the house.
Or no, I was coming up from the car. So I'm coming up the steps, and right to my right-hand side against the house. I don't know what made me look. I don't know what caught my eye.
It probably moved.
I turned my head, and there was a spider. I'm not going to lie to you.
It was like the size of your palm.
Body on this thing was probably that big.
Like what are they, like the brown?
I don't know. It's not a brown. It was huge.
I don't think it's a brown recluse, but
I'm not super afraid of spiders that I'm one of these people that's like, oh my god, it was like this fucking big. Like, I'm not going to exaggerate it to you. It was huge. I literally walked up the steps, see it, put whatever I had in my hands down on the table, walked straight off the other set of steps on the other side. Just one fluid motion. Went down to you, and I was just like, we're not going back on the porch.
And I was like, why?
And you're like, why? And I'm like, from that distance, I was comfortable being like, look right in that corner. And you saw it. And then your dad gets there. We tell your dad about it. He's got a baseball hat on. Walks up the steps, sees it, takes his baseball hat off.
And just
the steps, so he's facing the house, the steps are to his right. Swats at it. I watch it go off the side of the house and down, like, into the grass and stone there at the bottom of the steps. And you immediately go, did you get it? He goes, yes, and just goes about his business.
I'm like, is it dead?
Your mom is now coming up the steps, sees it, and goes, no, he didn't, and steps on it.
Yeah. Luckily, it was like, I think it was like
coiled
up.
He hit it.
Yeah.
But he didn't kill it.
And that was his thing.
He stunned it.
So
at best.
At our house, it's the same with this house. Like, we were kind of like butted up to a field. So in the basement, because we had like a mostly unfinished basement, you would get spiders that were like the size of a quarter.
Yeah.
And like, that's too big for me. I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, Dad, there's a spider down there. And like, he will get up and address it.
Yeah.
But he will come with one Kleenex. He'll get one, maybe even just a sliver of Kleenex. And he'll go down. You hear no slapping.
Yeah.
You hear no indication. And you'll say, I'll be like, I got it. I'll be like, is it dead? Like, I got it. That's not what I asked you. Is it dead? I need you to bring your little corner of Kleenex up here with the dead body on it. You have to prove to me. And, like, my mom knows. Like,
yeah.
Because if it's just her and I'm like, you're going to have to do it. You think I'm doing it? She learned real quick, and it happened here. You were still at your parents' house. We came home, and we're going upstairs, and Robin's into Spider-Man. So he's up there going, Spider, Spider, Spider. And I'm like, oh, he's just looking for Spider-Man. Yeah. And he goes, no, Spider. And on the floor is one of those quarter-sized motherfuckers. Tony's already in the room. And now all three of us know that there's a spider on the floor. And the two of them know, I'm not getting it. So I'm like, Tony, do not move. So he's like standing on his bed. I'm like, don't move. I come down here and get the vacuum with the longest attachment we have. And I just suck it up into the vacuum.
I know. The hilarity of me of like, just get a shoe.
No.
Put a shoe on your foot. Put a shoe in your hand.
I can't.
It's not a cricket.
I can't.
But there's nothing more of a pain in the ass
crawls,
to me.
I will scream.
There is nothing more of a pain in the ass to me than the crickets that we rarely get in the basement. Because what you have to do, because I've done it, you can't step on them because they'll just jump. You have to hold this thing, and it's like, I don't even know what to compare it to. You have to time out the direction that they're facing to know that you're going to do some shit and they're going to jump that way. So you have to throw the shoe angled towards them. Yep. So that when they go to jump, it's like a whoosh. Yeah. Like you it's have like to cut them off at the pass.
Or like the lantern flies where like you have to step on them from the front.
No,
or the
lantern
back.
flies you have to step on them from the back.
So like they
from the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the front.
So they don't...
You think it should be from the back.
Yeah.
But it's from the front. Because from the back, they see you coming and they jump forward.
From
the front, for whatever reason, wherever their eyes are, they can't see it.
It was quite the...
But the crickets are the worst. I went through a whole journey of trying to step on them, and they would scare the shit out of me because you'd go to step and they jump, and they were jumping towards me, and I'm like, no. Jump any other direction but towards me. So
I just sort of came to grips with them where I'm like, listen, when I go downstairs...
I ignore them most of the time.
I'm like...
Because I'm like, whatever.
You're not hurting me. Them. I try to shoo them
so I don't...
You're
not hurting me. You're...
I do think they multiply very quickly, though.
Eating other bugs, whatever.
Are they?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they eat spiders and stuff.
What?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, maybe we should just name them and keep them down there.
So then I'm like, whatever. But there are times where I try to kill them. One of them big, nasty motherfuckers.
They do get huge.
And you, like I said, you gotta look and calculate in your mind, like, how is this dude gonna jump? And you gotta throw that shoe at the right angle that you're gonna catch him, like, midair, and it's just gonna bam.
So most bugs I can...
What's worse is... I understand it if we're near a part of our basement where there's a bunch of stuff, but there are times where we're in the center of the basement. There is nothing for a good window of space. I'll throw that shoe at the angle I think it should be thrown. I will pick that shoe up. There is nothing on the bottom of the shoe. There's nothing on the floor. And there is no cricket anywhere to be found.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did this motherfucker just teleport to a different planet?
Probably.
What happened here? Because there's no evidence.
Then I'm like, are you on me?
There's no evidence this thing ever existed. I know it didn't come towards me because I'm watching it the whole time I throw that shoe. It's like playing golf or baseball where you don't take your eye off the ball.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoosh. I'm not putting my eyes away from you. But when that shoe comes up, there's nothing. There's no evidence you ever existed. It's like when you tell me there's a spider downstairs, I can't go down there to get whatever. Where is it? Right at the bottom of the steps. And I get to the bottom of the steps and look around for 45 minutes and go, there's nothing down
I'm like,
here.
well, you should have moved faster. I can handle other bugs. I don't love them, but like I can kill a millipede. I can kill obviously flies.
Our kids are hitting the same way, and I'm like, bro, get over it. Either kill the thing or leave it alone. We're outside, and Robin's like, bugs. I'm like, you're fucking outside, dude. They're everywhere.
He's worse than Tony.
Move on with your life.
It's really just spiders.
He's worse than Tony because he watches you do it, then he watches Tony do it, and he's like, oh, this is the natural reaction.
Tony's
to
only,
bugs.
currently, he's only afraid of bees.
Understandable. You want to see me look like an absolutely insane, like, if you ever see me through a window in the summertime, I'm outside by myself, you would think I'm a paranoid schizophrenic. Because there is a bee near me, and you will just watch me aggressively. Like,
yeah, uh-huh.
Because I hear that motherfucker like, and I'm like, oh, God. Like, it scares the bejesus out of me. Because they're so loud.
Now that I know the carpenter bees can't sting you, I, don't care.
Doesn't matter. They're so loud.
I don't care about them anymore.
I don't care about them from a distance. But like I said...
Yeah, they do. They do swarm at you.
And they're so... I don't think they're trying to, but they're so loud.
They're territorial.
And the sound is so aggressive that it just startles me.
They're really loud,
so much.
Honeybees are loud, too. But if I see a spider, I will have a visceral reaction. Mm-hmm. We had one here where I almost vomited. Mm-hmm. It was on a package that I carried inside, and I laid it down and realized there was a spider on it, and I ran upstairs.
I remember.
That was like, and you know when you feel like, you're not going to be sick, but everything in your body says, you should barf.
And you told me to get it, and I picked up the package that it was on, went over to the door, and just pew, and flicked it off the steps to the front yard.
Again,
and I'm like...
Is it dead? You have to show me the dead body.
I'm like, he gone.
I can't sleep. I mean, now, if you put it outside, it's fine. Yeah. But I need to see the dead body.
Well, that's what Robin's... The other day he was yelling at me to kill one. No, when Dana was here. Tell me to kill one on the patio outside. I'm like, it's outside. They kill the flies, all these pieces of shit that I don't want in the yard. Just go.
I mean, minus that one scary thing.
We lifted the tarp really up, and you were just trying to live your life in this tarp. We moved the tarp, now you're panicked. Just go in the grass. Live your life.
No, you need to be executed.
Be free. Just don't come in my house.
If they're really small, so I don't know if you've noticed, but when you go down our steps on the ceiling, there is a small spider. There he has a little web. He's pretty small. Smaller than the size of a dime. With his legs fully outstretched. He's very small.
I think I've seen that.
I just keep full eye contact when I go down the steps to make sure he doesn't decide that that's when he should descend and land on my head. Yeah. But we've come to an agreement. You stay there. Maybe he's gone now.
Probably.
But I can reason with them. But you just don't come up in here. In my living space. Otherwise, you'll be executed, and I'll need to see the dead body for proof that you have in fact deceased. My mom does that. When she kills him, she's like, it's right here. Mm-hmm. Puts it in the trash. I wonder if she was ever afraid of spiders. And
she still is.
But she'll kill them. She won't even hesitate.
No, she's acknowledged that. Because we talked about it in the mountains.
She doesn't love them, but she'll kill them.
Well, we talked about it in the mountains where it's one of those things of if she's cleaning the chairs off. She does, her size discrepancy is wider than your range.
Yeah, she'll say it was huge.
Well, no, I mean in terms of what she'll deal with.
Oh.
Your range is this, her range is probably this. She does, what she'll deal with goes up a little bigger than yours. But she's admitted, if she's taking the covers off the chairs and there's one that's manageable, she'll just kill it. Whereas, you're adamant, you see it and you're like, nope, I'm done.
I won't even take those covers off knowing that there's a potential it could be a spider under there.
You're like, you can come start this fire and then take one of the logs and just burn this whole thing down. I'm done.
I mean, that one back there, I'm like, you might as well just burn this whole house down. Start new.
Well,
I can't help it. It's a real phobia.
All this to say that if given the opportunity, at any point in the day, no matter where we are, if I have the opportunity to put hands on your butt, I'm gonna do it.
Gross.
But I'm not gonna poke your butthole.
If you did,
swipe your cheeks.
I mean, if you did that,
Not doing it.
I may laugh, but I think I would. I don't know.
It would need.
I would need to.
It would need 100%. 100% need to be in the correct context. Like, would I never do it? I'm not going to say that, because especially now, because now that we've discussed it, there is that pocket of like, there's going to be a time where in my mind, I'm like, this is the perfect time to do this, and it's going to be funny because we've talked about it. But if we had never had this conversation, I would never have done it.
It also needs to be done in the context of like, there's no sexual connotation here.
It would almost be like, I think, when I'm giving you a hug.
Oh,
like, I wouldn't come in the room and just do it randomly. Like, it would almost have to be, it's going to be it'd be a weird thing where, like,
you'd have to go in for the hug and then, like, as you think, like, as I back up.
Or I'd have to be, like, sitting down because the height difference.
Or, like, from here. Like, if I got up, maybe
like, you're coming to say goodnight, whatever. Like, it'd have to be, like, I'm sitting and you're standing as the height difference. Like, it'd be a weird, like, I'd have to really reach.
Right.
To do it. But, like, to me, that's the only time I could really see it fitting to do that bit. Yeah, it needs to be, like, very asexual. But I'm never doing the poke thing. No. That's weird to me. Like, if you did that in, like, a moment where, like, it seemed like, oh, this is sort of, there's, like, sexual tension in this moment. Then you can't do that then. Because then it's like, what? Yeah, but, like I said, all this to say, in terms of just... Everyone should just stop touching me. In terms of just physical touch, it's a very Finding Nemo situation. If I have the opportunity to touch it, I'm going to touch it. But just not in those two super weird ways that no matter what Instagram or TikTok tells me, you're never going to normalize it. No. I mean, are they always doing it to be funny, do you think? Or... no. All the times it has been presented to me, it's never to be funny. Oh, that's worse. The way it's being presented to me is that it's the same as... It is in, like, almost in replacement of just like a tap on the butt. Because, like, a butt tap... that's fine. The way it is presented to me would be the equivalent of, like, I come into a room and I slap you on the butt. Well, it's not, I mean, slap feels like a harsh word, but yes. You know what I mean. Yeah. Like, I come into the room and tap you on the butt. Then, like, this guy comes into the room and credit card swipes his wife's butt. And then guy number 3 comes into the room and pokes his wife in the butthole. Like, it's presented as if these are the same thing. Right. And I'm like, they're not. No. These two are weird. I don't know what these are, but they're not. Because, like, I feel like a tap on the butt is similar, like, it's like a... And we talked a lot at the beginning of this video. Like with the cuckolding thing and the hotwifing. I'm not trying to shame anybody. But in terms of these two examples, they're weird. I am going to shame you for this because it's weird. I mean, I don't know if it's not necessarily, like, shaming. Like, if you're both... I'm shaming you in the sense of you're filming it and putting it on the internet and telling people this is normal. Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's weird. Now, if it's like your wife is... If I watched this video and you did it and you both laughed about it, different story. Yeah. Whole different thing. But, like, if you're both in on it, like, you don't... That's just something you don't need to put on the internet. But... Not everything needs to be filmed. But I mean, even if you did it, like, if you laughed, like, it's still you don't tap your wife on the butt, you do this. But you both laugh about it. Like, it's the same connotation, but you're doing it more as a jokey kind of thing. Right. Then that's fine. But it's still being presented in the same way. Again, that's different. But I don't think the poking... I just don't... I mean, it's also the same thing... Like, you touched on it. I don't see it a lot. I don't see it a lot, but the same thing of, like, I come into a room and you're like, you're bent over at the sink getting dish pods for the dishwasher.
Right.
I apologize for all the kitchen-related things.
Well, because our kitchen
I'm not being super 1950s. I'm looking right at our kitchen right now. But our kitchen,
the way our house is laid out, like, when you go from the dining, like, our living room, dining room, into the kitchen, the sink is literally in...
I'm also just saying, like I said, I'm looking
on the other side of the doorway.
I'm looking right at the kitchen and the sink and the dishwasher and everything else.
So that's why it's the example
coming right into my mind.
That's where you...
There's also a doorway there, so it makes the most sense.
When you walk, like, if you were to walk up behind me, it's going to be at the sink.
If you're... I'm like... And also, rarely are you bent over at the waist getting something.
Yeah, I'm usually... I kneel, like, or crouch down. Yeah.
But... I don't think I would ever walk in a room and see you bent over like that, and my thought would be to grab you by the waist and hump you, like, aggressively.
Yeah. Like
2 or 3 times.
Like History of the World, where they're, like, on the chessboard.
But he does that once! That's like a once and done in that movie. The videos I've seen, it's like a woman doing it to her husband. It's like, oh, well, my husband does to me. And it's like 2 or 3 aggressive.
Yeah.
Like,
now, I don't know. Like,
and I'm like, no. Would I, again, in that moment, would I think, like, prime opportunity, good game, give you a little pat on the butt?
Right.
Yes. But
that's where it ends.
I don't think in my wildest dreams would I think, like, prime opportunity to borderline sexually assault you right now.
It just seems like that seems like another instance where, like, that would take you so off guard, where, like, you are gonna be like,
it'd be frightening,
angry about it, because, like, nobody likes,
frightened. You're like, what's happening?
No one likes to be startled.
Yeah.
And, like, it's one thing. Like, the kids will do it to me all the time, especially when they come down in the morning. Like, they come up behind me and scare me.
I would love, and this is definitely a thing of, like, we would do it, and no one would understand. Well, not no one. Very few people would understand, like, the satirical aspect of it. I would love to film. I would love to see someone do a parody of those videos, but the parody would be, like... It'd be also the reverse of those videos. So it'd be doing to my wife what she does to me. And then it'd be like you standing there doing the dishes. And instead of any of this, what we're describing, like, the husband would walk in and almost, like, pants his wife and then tap her on the butt and then walk away. Because it's just the full, like, to me, it'd be the satirical thing of making fun of those posts.
Yeah.
Because you're going to such an outrageous place of, like, no one is doing this.
Right.
Who
did? Oh, no. I did get... Tony pants me.
Tony did pants you.
Mm-hmm. Because you told him to.
No, I did not. There were many a time...
You taught him about pantsing.
No, I think that was an organic thing that, like...
You were just, like...
It happened, I think, and we all laughed about it. And then you did it to him, I did it to him, when he still had diapers on.
Yeah.
Like, when he would get a diaper change, we would just pull his pants down, like, in the aggressive manner, like... And then I will admit, there were times where he was walking, and he doesn't remember it. He doesn't understand it at that point. No, he was
never, like, offended
or I would tell him, like, go out there and do that to mommy. And he would walk out there and just, like, bap, bap, and then, like, turn and walk away.
He would, like, pull on my pants.
Yeah. Like, he didn't know how to do it, but I'm like, nothing would be funnier to me than to watch him walk out there just full blown.
He did, underwear and all. He pulled to my ankles. And I'm like, why?
So funny.
And then he just ran away.
And I will say, I will admit that there was a time where I was trying to get him to do it for the comedy of it all. And what made that moment so much funnier was I didn't tell him to do it. He just did it that time, and it was so funny. And he was like...
He was probably 2.
I say he may have been 3 years old.
I wasn't pregnant yet, I don't think.
Like,
I may have been.
When it's still hilarious. Like now it'd be like
and he doesn't do it he wouldn't
No,
do
he
that
doesn't.
to someone now. And he wouldn't do it like outside the house either.
And I don't think he even remembers it.
No.
Like we did it so early that at 5 years old, he does not remember what being pantsed is.
No. He might because we've
done it to Robin, but there again, he's only remembering it in the context of like when Robin gets his diaper changed.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We do it to him.
Yeah.
And he remembers it in the context of like it happens, and I'll do like my pants, because that's what happens in Big City Greens is Cricket's jumping to something and his pants fall off. Well, and that's what he does. He's like, oh, my pants.
Now he just thinks it's funny, like he thinks like your pants just fall down.
Yeah.
Like if you just jump up and down enough.
He's big into like if I
the slapstick comedy.
If I found like old slapstick vaudeville shit where the guy's belt comes loose and his pants just fall down, he would lose his mind.
Yeah.
But that's all the time we have for
don't poke your wife in her butthole
this week. Yeah, let us know in the comments. Do you card swipe, finger poke, or just a nice... Was there
a time where like that ATM thing was like popular? Because I feel like when I was in high school, it's like when it was not popular.
The only things I remember were no
ATM.
Don't remember any of that. I remember you would either very casually walk past your buddy and the back of your hand like tap him in the nuts.
Yeah.
You would do that. You would do this weird, and maybe this was just my school, I don't know. There was this weird thing called diddle where you would go here and do like that sort of thing.
Okay, bean dip. I taught you about bean dip.
No, you did not. Bean dip was also in high school. So diddle was this thing, the nut slap, and then I don't think that there was anything else.
But you did the bean dip where you go under.
Yeah,
you go under someone's boob and flick it.
Yeah, the bean dip was that was big.
I don't know why it's called bean dip. Like I've literally no idea. I just remember like among my girlfriends when we learned what that was, like we would do it to each other. Like
I think I did it to you very early on, like once or twice.
I don't remember ever seeing like guys doing that to girls. I guess it was just like guys doing it to other guys. I don't know.
Guys did it to guys.
And like the nips.
In high school.
They would always try to like pull each other's nipples.
Oh yeah, dudes did that and I'm like, that's too much.
Like stop.
It's too far.
Purple Nurple. Like
too far.
That sounds painful.
I'll give you like the bean dip is a bit much, but like trying to squeeze my nipples is too much.
Or like
it's too much.
The titty twister.
But it wasn't even that.
You only have two titties.
The dudes in my high school would try to like, it was legit, like they would try to just like almost like they were trying to snatch it off your body. I'm like, dude, stop it. It's too much. It's too far.
Yeah.
The bean dip is a step too far. But like you're way over the line.
Right, that's just unacceptable.
I appreciate how defensive you got, because I was going to bean dip you as an example, and you got real defensive about it. You really boxed it. I'm not going to do it now. The moment has passed. But like, when I did the diddle, I was going to do it, but then you like...
Did they do the thing where
you got real
you fart
armsy.
in your hand? I mean, obviously girls weren't doing that, but the guys would fart in their hand, like cup of soup, and then put it in someone's face.
I had never heard of that until you told me about it. Whenever we were dating.
Oh my god. And I'm like...
Because you and your coworker would do that.
No,
like,
I didn't.
Never heard of this.
I've never farted in my hand.
I've never heard of this.
I knew, like, that's what dudes would do to each other. I'm like, why? Why do you want to put your fart in your hand and then put it in someone's face?
I've never done that, nor have I ever known anyone who's done that.
I've seen plenty of people.
Sound off in the comments.
Let us know.
Yeah.
You cupping some soup?
Have you ever soup cupped someone? Have you ever bean dipped someone?
If you haven't,
ever bean dipped someone of the opposite sex?
If you haven't, you should try it.
You'll
both laugh.
Do you finger poke? Do you card swipe? Or do you good game tap your partner on the backside? Because this is not... It's portrayed online as being very male-female, but it could be...
traditionally, I don't know.
It could be male-male. It could be female-female.
Oh, yeah, right. Depending on you. I was like, it's not often, like, female to male. I feel like guys don't really like that. They don't really like their butts to be smacked.
I don't know.
Because it's like,
it wouldn't. I'm not into it. Like, it wouldn't turn me on, but it wouldn't frustrate me.
no, but it's just sort of like it's like I'm indifferent. Like it's just
Like if it happened to me, it would 100% in my mind. I would know that it's one of those like you're doing it to me because I do it to you.
Right. Like, see, how do you
thing.
like it?
Yeah, like I would know in my mind that's what's happening.
But I feel like,
but I wouldn't really care. But like we said, I would care if it was the other two.
No, I'm not doing that. I don't want to put my hands in your
we've addressed that.
butt cheeks.
Why?
Well,
I mean, really, if you want to get technical, I'm the husband to do it to because my butt doesn't work anymore. So nothing's happening.
I mean, you still have a butt crack, though.
Yeah, but there's nothing coming in it. There's nothing coming out of it.
Right, I don't run the risk of, like, getting farted on, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm still...
Or it sound like, oh, I didn't wipe properly, so now your hand just smells like shit. Like,
gross. Oh, God.
Well,
just keep your hands to yourself.
Thank you for joining us. Follow us on all the social medias that I'm aware of that exist. Like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, turn your notifications on, tell your friends, share this, however you do that, tell your family, whatever. Yeah. We will see you next week. We love you, and as always, thank you for being a friend.